Update. My wife admitted to me that she has quite an intense crush on her personal trainer. What's the next step? Original post. We, 38 male and 38 female, have been together for 15 years, married for 10. During that time, she's always done something fitness-related, whether it was running, going to the gym, or cycling. About a year ago, she decided she wanted to be stronger. She started lifting weights at the gym and was making progress. But around 4 months ago, she said she needed some guidance and began doing sessions with one of the gym's personal trainers. She was really enjoying it, and about a month ago, she increased her sessions from 2 a week to 3. There has been a noticeable change in her strength, and I was happy for her because she seemed really proud of herself. Then this weekend, she dropped a bombshell on me. I had noticed that our sex life had pretty much come to a stop a couple of months ago, and I spoke to her about it. She said she was sorry, and that it was just the stress of starting a new job mixed with the cold weather, and that she just wasn't in the mood. I thought that was fair enough, and decided to leave it and let her lead the pace when she was ready again. Well, this weekend she told me that she has developed a very intense crush on her personal trainer, and that while she knows crushes can happen in relationships, this feels like it's more than that. She said she finds herself constantly seeking his attention, either at the gym or on social media. She has started tagging him in all her posts, but I assumed it was more of a giving credit thing. Then she admitted she has started wearing less and less at the gym to get his attention, which is something I hadn't noticed, because she always takes a gym bag with her and gets changed there. She also admitted that the last few times we had sex, she fantasized that it was him, and that's why she stopped having sex altogether, as she felt too guilty. Probably the worst thing she told me was that a few days ago, she saw him having a personal session with someone else, a younger woman closer to his age. She saw them laughing together and became so jealous and upset that she had to leave the gym and cry in her car. She said he has done nothing to encourage this and has been nothing but professional throughout all of this, and that he is not at fault. I don't know what to do. I'm crushed. Do I just sit back and wait for the crush to stop? Do I demand that she change gyms and block this guy? We've all had crushes in relationships and they usually pass, but I feel like this one won't. She's alone with him 3 times a week and follows him on all her social media accounts. I feel like distance is how you get over something like this, but I don't want to come across as controlling. What do you think? She doesn't want to change anything and thinks it will just go away on its own. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Crying in her car because he talked to another client? That sounds like a lot more than just a crush. Agreed. It sounds like she's developed feelings for him. I think you're missing the point some people are making. It's not that she's developed deeper feelings. It's that she's developed an unhealthy obsession with someone she doesn't actually know. Crying in the car when you see someone doing their job with someone else isn't healthy. The point isn't so much she's really in love. The point is, wow, her mental health is really low. You don't want to be controlling, but you can sit down together and talk. You can ask her if she's willing to prioritize your marriage by 1. Changing gyms, and 2. Going to therapy. Then it's her choice, and yours, whether you're willing to forgive and help each other work through this. If I'm being honest, I usually only see this problem when people intentionally fly too close to the sun. Her problem wasn't necessarily the crush, it was that she actively and willingly fed into it. Most sane people who care about their marriages and relationships will immediately see the problem and try to move as far away from it as possible. That's the impasse. You either dump cold water on it or you add accelerant. She didn't. She made every attempt, pulled every stop, to make it more than a crush and failed the wife test. And that's a scary thought. There are so many people out there who turn down a flirtation or romantic gesture out of respect for their partners. Yeah, she needs therapy. And you need to reevaluate your marriage because it's hanging on by a thread. That's a tough but necessary read. I agree with you, but she's refusing couples counseling. I don't know what to do next. Edit. Thank you for all the replies. There's too many to keep up with. I spoke to her last night and got a bit more information, and then went and spoke to him and got some more. He has done nothing wrong. I'll post an update after work tonight. Now for the first update. So I spoke to my wife the night after my original post. I said she needs to leave her personal trainer, quit that gym, and we need to start going to couples counseling. She wasn't happy and started arguing, saying it's only a crush and it'll pass, and that she's making good progress. She then started to frame it as me not caring about her health. Once she realized I wasn't budging, she started trying to bargain with me, asking what if she stopped seeing the personal trainer but still went to the gym, and if she started having sex with me again, we wouldn't need couples counseling. I lost my temper at this point, I admit, and shouted, "Enough! I want to know everything. Tell me everything you've done. I want to read your messages with him. I want to see these outfits you are wearing. I need to know everything now." She said fine and stormed off upstairs. She came back down wearing an outfit that was a bit much for the gym in a cold country, to be fair, but I didn't say anything and asked to see her phone. She said she deleted the messages. When I asked why, she was honest and said she sent him a topless selfie on Christmas Day while I was downstairs cooking dinner for her bloody family. She then said that while she was confessing, she had also kissed another man on a night out in the first year of our relationship. I already knew this because her friend who fancied me at the time told me about it. I asked her why him and not me. What's he got that I haven't? She said nothing, and that it was more about the situation than him. She said she's starting to feel regret and like she missed out on her youth. She had a boyfriend from school to her early 20s, was single for a year, and then met me. She said she started to regret not having more fun and is beginning to enjoy attention from other men more and more, especially younger men. When she originally told me, she said a couple of times, "I'm not planning on doing anything. It's just a fantasy, unless you want me to do something," with nervous laughter. At the time, it felt a bit like she wanted to do something but was trying to frame it as my idea, though I didn't fully click. I asked her if, when she told me, she was expecting me to give her permission, and she said she genuinely thought that because I don't get jealous, I'd be okay with it. I still felt like I wasn't being given everything though. The outfit and the kiss confession felt like distractions, and like something was missing. Even telling me about all this in the first place felt a bit like she was trying to get her story in before someone else told me. I said I was going for a drive and then went to the gym to speak to her personal trainer. I approached him and said, "I'm not here for trouble. I understand my wife has been harassing you." He wasn't happy being approached this way, which I get, but he asked me who my wife was. When I told him, he said he knew something like this was going to happen. He told me that he had trained her since Christmas, as he let her go after she had been sending pictures, plural, not just the one she told me about. He said since then she had kept messaging, but he ignored her. He let me read the messages, and she had sent 12 pictures over a 3-month period. One was fully naked, and when he told her not to send them, she said she was just showing her progress. The worst part, though, was that she was messaging him things like, "We've had another argument, could really do with a session to burn off some anger," and "He's out drinking with his friends again, ignoring me. I'm so lonely," neither of which are true. Then she told him in mid-December that she had kicked me out and we were divorcing. With the Christmas Day picture, she even said, "First Christmas alone," and just last week she messaged him saying I was already seeing someone else. I thanked him, asked him to send me the messages, and went home. When I got home, she was already gone and had just written me a note saying, "Sorry." She's at her friend's house, and we've been texting a bit over the last couple of days. We have a marriage counselor booked for next week, but I think it's done. I'm not even that bothered about the pictures or the flirting or the outfit. It's the lying about me and our marital status. I don't drink, and we hadn't argued in years. I'm downstairs entertaining her family while she's sending nudes. She's never sent me one, and telling him she's alone. I'm working all this weekend to try to keep my mind busy. Sorry if I don't reply quickly enough, and thank you to everyone who took the time to read and reply to my last post. This was well beyond a crush. This was her actively trying to cheat. If he had been willing, she absolutely would have slept with him. I 100% agree. What actually bothers me on top of everything else is that she sexually harassed a man trying to do his job and didn't stop when he told her to. Cheating aside, that kind of behavior makes my stomach drop. Yeah, I genuinely feel for him. He was put in an awkward spot. All things considered, personal trainer is quite a decent guy. They could have been humping like rabbits if he was receptive of your wife's action. Yeah, he was a good guy to me. He sent over 20 screenshots. Now I feel bad for your wife's former trainer. What's your next step? Divorce? Keep it quiet. Get your act together. Get a lawyer, then surprise her. I'm 90% certain it's divorce. Dog, she already pretended to be divorced. For the sake of your dignity, there's no other option. Sorry, bro. I think I'm just too fragile to face that at the moment. Now for the second update. Thank you for all the replies. I really do appreciate it. There's been so many I can't keep up. Thank you to the people who have DM'd me as well. I really appreciate it. I've decided to not bother with marriage counseling and just start divorce proceedings this week. Life really can turn upside in a week. I never thought I'd be single again, but here we are. Last story. My girlfriend is angry that she set herself up to fail, and I am entirely unsympathetic. I, 38 male, am a self-employed building surveyor. A week before Christmas, a client got in touch and asked if I could facilitate an urgent job between Christmas and New Year. Having no kids and very little else to do in that period, and with the money being offered being substantial for the rush job, I agreed to 2 days of work. Today and tomorrow, 29th to 30th December. The client is great, the money is great, and I had no other plans. The work is in London. I live in the north of England, so it's hotel stays for me, as is the norm for my business. Staying Sunday night until Tuesday night, and traveling back on Wednesday, New Year's Eve, to enjoy the festivities. I told my girlfriend, 33 female, about this work I'd taken on, and she immediately wanted to come with me. I asked why, and she said we could have a nice break in the capital and spend some time together. I told her this isn't a holiday, it's work, and that she's welcome to join me if she can entertain herself. But I'm working, so she better not moan about me getting up at 6 a.m. She said this was fine. She could see some friends and go to the markets, the shops, do tourist stuff, etc. So I added her name to the hotel room and booked her a train ticket. Central London. I'm not paying a fortune to park 45 minutes away from the site. We traveled yesterday afternoon and got to the hotel, where the first issue arose. It's a budget hotel, part of a large chain that I regularly use, with very basic facilities. She didn't think it was nice enough for a romantic break. I reminded her this is not a romantic break, and I'm not spending business income on anything I don't need, like a swanky hotel room, and the room was booked before she asked to join. She pulled a face a bit, but didn't say anything else about it. I got into my usual work routine, unpacking clothing, putting tools on to charge, then going to scout the property and nearby amenities. I told her I was off to do this, checked if she needed anything from the shops, and headed out, with her just getting into the shower as I left. I returned about an hour later with my usual haul of bottled water, protein bars, and bananas, which see me through the working day until I find usually a kebab house or similar for a hot evening meal. I'm not poor by any means, but whatever is spent when away still comes out of my profits, so I try to stay reasonably cheap. When I returned, around 6 p.m. by this time, she was dressed up in a nice outfit and partway through putting her makeup on. I assumed she'd made plans with a friend, so I asked her where she was going. She got quite angry at this and snapped at me to put my nice clothes on so we could go out. I pointed out that I'd not brought any nice clothes and that I wasn't going out, as I had work the next morning. This went down like a lead balloon. She immediately started crying and saying I'd ruined her plans for a nice meal at some restaurant she'd apparently made a reservation for. I again reminded her that I'm not on holiday. I'm up at 6 a.m. and I was doing nothing more than eating, sleeping, and playing on my Switch too, which aggravated her more. Cue more tears and another complaint about the hotel not being nice enough. I told her she's upset entirely due to her own actions and refusal to listen to me, and that I was not sympathetic to her tears when she unilaterally decided my work trip was our romantic getaway. She locked herself in the bathroom, so I went out and got us some food. By the time I returned, she seemed to have reflected upon everything and apologized to me. She'd gotten changed into her comfy clothes. We ate, chilled out for a bit doom scrolling, then watched a film before bed. I set my alarm for the morning and reminded her I was up at 6, then got into bed while she was finishing up in the bathroom. As she came out of the bathroom, she made a big thing about me looking at her. As I had literally just got my head on the pillow, I told her whatever it was could wait until tomorrow and to get into bed. She shouted at me, "I've put in all this effort and you're not even going to look?" So I reluctantly rolled over, grabbed my glasses, flicked the bedside lamp on, and looked over to see her in a very sexy maid's outfit with all the trimmings. She climbed onto the bed and immediately started trying to initiate sex, but I stopped her, told her yes, she looked amazing, but it's nearly midnight. I'm up in a few hours and need to get some rest. She shouted, "Well, F you," and locked herself in the bathroom again. I took my glasses off, flicked the light off, and rolled back over to sleep. I'm not sure exactly how long afterwards. I was in a semi-sleep state. She got into bed, gave me a hug, and said she's sorry for shouting. I got up the next morning, showered and dressed quietly, then gave her a quick kiss on the forehead, said I love her, was off to work, and left. It was a pretty normal working day, nothing of note, and I left around 6 p.m., getting back to the hotel just before past. She was in the room when I got back. I asked if she'd had a good day. She said she'd been shopping, as was evidenced by the various bags scattered around the place. I went to get in the shower, and when I came out, she told me she'd laid clothes out for me. I looked on the bed to find a whole brand new outfit, shirt, trousers, and shoes. I told her thanks, but I was getting into my comfy gear since I'd been in work gear all day, and she snapped, "You're not going out in your scruffs," which caught me off guard. So I asked, "Why not?" Which led to her informing me we were going for food and drinks with a friend of hers and the friend's husband. I lost my temper at this point. This was the third time in about 24 hours I'd reminded her I'm here for work, not whatever ideas she had in her head. She got upset at me calling her ideas stupid, but I countered with the fact that unilaterally planning romantic ideas on a working freaking trip was incredibly freaking stupid, which caused her to start crying. I told her I'm not interested in her crocodile tears. She's a full-grown woman who has elected to ignore everything she's been told, make plans for others that they've no interest in nor capability of undertaking, and she's now upset because she isn't getting what she wanted. She said I didn't care about her, which I flipped right back, pointing out she'd literally decided to ignore everything I'd told her repeatedly, and so she could sulk from now until 2036 if she wants. But she's entirely at fault for this, and I'm taking no responsibility for her being upset as it's wholly self-inflicted. She was bawling her eyes out at this point, so I got dressed and went out to get food, texting her to let me know if she wanted anything. She immediately replied saying she's going home. Open return train ticket, thankfully. I got back to the hotel about 30 minutes ago, and she has indeed packed up her stuff and left. I'm now sat alone in my hotel room, picking at the food I got for her, struggling with one simple question. How could I have made it any clearer that my work trip is not our romantic getaway? You should break up. Yes, it was a work trip. Yeah, she didn't listen. But it also comes across like you can't stand the woman. Let her go. I don't think this is going to work out, mate. Yes, you're right. This was a business trip. You were very clear this is a business trip. But unless you consider binary thinking a prized personality trait, there was plenty of room to compromise to have your cake and eat it. You could work, go out to dinner, and get laid. This became more about you digging your heels in and being right than anything else. If you don't have the ability to compromise, then relationships are not something you should have in your life. Her not listening is definitely an issue. Is this normal behavior for her? If it is, then that isn't compatible for relationships either.